Hey folks, thanks again for tuning in to Dude Crafted Cars. Today we're getting back to the hairy scary models. So if you recall, we're rebuilding the hairy scary base for my friend Mike. So this is for Spike Mike of the Spice Pistols, and we're building one for him to take on tour and to play for you, and the other one for one of you to hopefully bid on it through his eBay site. I think he's going to put it on eBay. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't speak ahead, but we're going to make it available to the public, and all proceeds are going to help benefit Mike for rebuilding after his house fire. We're going to install the frets. I've got the fretboards already prepped up well enough. They're well-oiled ebony. And today we're going to put the frets in, which is going to be quite extensive because I do things a little differently with stainless steel frets versus nickel frets. So we're going to get some stainless steel wire. Now this stuff is all ready to go. As you can see, it's all ready to go at 12 to 16 inch radius, which is what we're doing. So we're doing a 12 to 16 combo radius. We're doing a 0 fret, but what I do with stainless is I actually cut the frets, trim them up, and then I do the little snip on the end. I'm going to pull out a piece of this roll, and I use my really cool fret tang nippers that should be in my fret box. They were. Look at that. Something that was actually put away. Now when you cut fret wire with your nippers, you want to cut it sideways. Always cut this way, never cut that way, because you don't want to pinch that tang. Before I get too far ahead though, let me make sure that these frets are nice and clean. And what I mean by that is I'm not worried about a little bit of Goomba. You'll actually see that we're going to add more. We're going to use glue. But what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that I don't have any hard stuff in it. Like you see right here where I made the little sticks to hold the thing in place, the little alignment pins. Those definitely have got to go. And you got to remember, especially something like this, never trust old measurements. These are short scale, 30-inch scale bases, and I think we've only got 21 frets on it. Might be 22. Don't go a full, 4 octaves like we would on some of our baritones. We just don't need that many notes from Mike. He's the thunder man, and all the thunder is down here. No point in making all those extra frets go that way. Now what we're going to do is just take this, and I've got a little MDF cribbage board thing here, and I'm just going to lay the frets down and get imprecise measurement. Okay, so that's the cribbage board method. Now on this one, I'm going to do something a little differently that I've seen our good Zen master Ben Crow do. Okay, he lines them up like this, so he knows which one is 1, or in my case 0 fret, and which one is number 20. He takes masking tape and does one of these. Then takes the masking tape and does this. They're all lined up in order. So as I need it, I just pluck it, put it in. Cool. All right, now I'm going to make myself a little wicking stick. What's a wicking stick, James? Well, pay attention. This is a wicking stick. Basically, what I've got is that little popsicle stick just filed down to act like a quill. Only instead of gathering ink, it's going to gather glue. And when I say glue, I mean glue. Squirt just a little bit of water, not much. So now let me grab my press. Now I like to take a triangle file and get the real pointy end and just give like a little extra groove. Now, don't forget, even though I'm doing this, once I get to the end here, we're still not ready for the frets. Okay, so what I've got to do is nip the tangs off. In getting the press ready, these things have a little caul insert, and I take it out and take a look at it. Because the last thing I want to do, again, going on yesterday's measurements, is just assume that I've got the right call in there. So we're going to go 12 to right about the 12th fret, and then it's going to be 16. So right now I've got 12. And I'm just going to do this. This is why we have that little wicking stick. Just take that glue and just kind of spread it in there. Then I'm just going to lay it on, try to line it up as well as possible, and then just hammer each end real lightly, real quickly, just enough to secure it so it doesn't fall out when I take it over the press. I take it over this guy, and then I just firmly press it in until I feel it actually going into the wood. Now that I've done that, I flip it and do it this way. Don't ask me why I do it. It's probably not necessary, but I just do it. Now, what I like to do is something that most guys will wait to do later, but I decided on my own, I'm going to see if these things rock now. And they don't. And that's another reason why I'll look down the fretboard just to make sure that they're all sitting firmly against the fretboard. Now, if you don't have a press, you can definitely put these in with the hammer. I like using the press. It's so much easier. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for frets. I'm going to do the next one the same way. So we've got both of them done. I let these set, went about my business doing other things before I come and mess with them. That's the one thing you want to do is let that PVA glue, that tight bond, actually just set up and gel. So we're just going to cut the ends as close as we can, and then we're going to file. Now I'm going to do the other one. Now what I like to do is individually come in and just shave these down a little bit. I notice I'm working that way. Don't work this way. If you work this way, like this, you have a good chance of popping that fret out. And we've got to start all over. Okay, this area you want to be very careful, because we do have this extended here for a reason, and I'm going to need to clean that up before I glue on the side pieces. Okay. Okay. So we got that. Now I've got this special little tool here. You could buy these. I made mine. It's basically, it's the same thing as what I just had, except it's a file into a piece of wood. This particular one, I could come this way if I just want to get the side, or I could go this way, and this one allows me to change the pitch angle. So I could get the side if I want, and then I can also put that little bevel on there. Now, when I bought the file for this, I made sure that I got a bastard file. What that means is that it's got grooves to cut both directions. A lot of files will only cut one way or the other. This one cuts both ways. That allows me to get the job done a little quicker. I think where I put the round part, I need to tighten it up. Now what we want to do, these are going to be right-hand models, is our fret marker dots. Now Mike had requested, extra special for himself, glow-in-the-darks. So that's what we're going to use. And I've got these nice big ones. Now we need to mark it out. And to do that, what I like to do is get myself a couple little markings that look like they're about midway. That looks like about midway there. About midway there. Take old trusty ruler and connect those midway lines. And we've got 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we're looking for center of that right there. Okay, so we got 3, 5, 7, 9. Still like to put a little starter punch. All right, then come in, make that hole. Take a little tape. Now we've got quite a bit more gap under here, under these frets, than necessary. What I'm going to do, take this thing here. Okay, this squirt's really tight. I'm just going to fill in that gap a little bit. And just work that over a little bit. And then I'll take some of this stuff, Timbermate, and spread that in there a little more. This stuff's already really nice and creamy. And again, this is just the way I do it. I'm always open to suggestions. So if you guys are, any of you watching that have done this before, do this all the time, you have suggestions, go ahead, leave them please. Comment below. Comment away. This is the way we all learn and teach each other. Okay, now, just in case any of that super glue wants to be too liquidy, now we spray that over it. And then we come back and sand everything down. Okay, when I say sand that down, I really do mean sand, so I'm going to use a sanding board. And then maybe come into a little tighter detail. All right, so that's that. I'm going to do the same thing here as far as filling in those gaps. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and get some carving done. So let me do that real quickly. You don't have to watch it on camera. You've already seen it. So we're going to use this as a segue to go to the carving. So let's go. Let's go carve it. Okay, so now we've got our panels, and you see I kind of got a heart-shaped thing. I probably did off camera. Looks like there's some pencil mark missing because I ran it through the planer real quickly. I'm going to leave these ends like this. I'm not going to cut the shape out. I'll do that with the template after we glue up, which is what we're going to do right now. Okay, so we're going to take this, get some glue on there. Okay, so I'm putting enough glue on there to get a nice even spread. Now I'm just going to set that like that. And then I'm going to do this. Good. Go ahead, just set this down nice and gently. You see how I trace the heart? That's really all I did, is just to give myself a generic view of where the shape is going to be. Now I'm going to see if this doesn't clamp right, going at two different posing angles like that. Then what I'll do is I'll get some blocks and we'll make it work. And so far it seems to be working. So that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to basically stand this up, something like that, let it drip over here, clean up my workbench. And then I'll clean this up. It's real easy to do. Take the scraper, a little D-nat, boom, paper towel. So that's going to conclude this episode. Thanks again for tuning in to Dude Craft Guitars. Don't forget to please click the like, subscribe button, and ring that bell so you know when the next episode is, because these are going to be some really cool looking basses. If you haven't already seen the picture of the very first one, then please do so. I mean, so you can see where we're going with this. So please come on back. Thanks.